Welcome to this first round match of the Snooker 19 Community World Championships between Captain Goodspeed and LeeMc147. This, as with all of the other first round encounters, is a best of three. And it's LeeMc147 who is representing Tiang Penfei, who's to break off for this first round. Now, Captain Goodspeed, also known as Joe, is representing Ronnie O'Sullivan. And beside me in the commentary box today is another player who's playing in the tournament, Tom Mayhew. So, before I introduce Tom, let's introduce Tom anyway. This looks like it could be bowled straight away from the cap.
Yeah, Joe's straight in here with a shot. It's lovely to be here.
What a
Oh
pot.
my word, he's already in. Living up to his nickname, the Rocket there, wasting no time at all. And this is...
Well, that was a good pot.
This is exciting here. He's already... Do you think he's going to win the match from here, Toby? Of course, you've kind of got insider knowledge of Joe. Has he been practicing a lot?
Yeah, he has. He's one to take this sort of thing seriously, but, not too seriously. But I think that sort of shot shows it. If you're going to do it, you've got to do it quick on this difficulty. You can't give anybody a chance. But the problem is, I just feel he had to play the blue there. With the Master Plus difficulty, too much of a tricky one trying to bend the black background and cut it back. And already the cue ball starting to run a little bit too much as he goes into the reds. Bit of a bad contact there. Unless he magics something here. This is end of break. But as long as he gets out of it sensibly... Oh, he's going to try and play with side here. Don't be too aggressive too soon.
I mean, that is Joe all over. He's never going to... He's always attacking. He never plays safety. We'll see how this...
Not going to like this, but very similar to one of his favourite players, Judd Trump. And of course, that's... Let's see how he gets on. Oh, he's missed the black. Well, that is the sort of problem you have when you go for those aggressive shots.
I mean, that was very Judd Trump back in 2011, let's be honest. And now...
So, an all or nothing shot, and it didn't work out. And for the first time since his break-off shot, Lee is at the table.
And
now, as his nickname suggests on here, LeeMc147, he has made a 147 online. I don't think we're going to see the same today. I think in a best of three, that is wishful thinking. But he's got a good opportunity to get, I don't know, a 30-40 break going. Something that gives him a bit of leverage and something to just give him a little bit of confidence at the start of this one.
Yeah, well, the reds are well placed. None of the colours are on the cushion, so he's taken his time. So he's being careful. He's being a bit.
Oh, he's missed that.
Oh my!
Okay, by a long way.
I was not expecting that. And he's playing more like Lee Mac, the comedian there, I believe.
So Joe gets away with that one at least scot-free. What Joe has to avoid now is getting into that situation that I think a lot of us find ourselves in when we get these chances and start getting a bit excited, think, I shouldn't really have this chance, so if I don't take it, it's okay. Just has to keep a level head. He's potted a red. That pink doesn't go, so he's going to have to go for one of the bulk colours here. But at least he hasn't got to play this too hard. You would think wherever he lands, permitting he doesn't have a disaster, he's going to be on a red of some sort, which he certainly is. He's got a few options here. And pink, blue is in play, wants to look to get that black back where it belongs. This is a chance. Let's see what Joe's made of.
Wow, Joe's made of ambition and drive from his videos.
Yeah, just like the player he's representing, really. Ooh, that was just about a good enough kiss. But the blue doesn't go to the top corner pocket, so it's awkward here. He's going for the green, it looks like. The blue or the pink, just too tight for him to really seriously take on. That's the problem, isn't it, with a table like this? You can't just play a shot to nothing in effect. You've got to be all out or play safety. If you're attempting the pot, you've just got to go for it, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I feel like Joe's not settled down yet. I think he's still... Maybe he's a bit nervous. Maybe he's struggling for his cue action. I look like Roddy himself. I don't really know, but he's not... He doesn't feel fluid in his position at the moment.
Yeah, he's chasing the cue ball around the table a lot. And that is just another problem with the balls being all out. You almost feel like you've got too much space sometimes on the table. You feel like that you can have that bit of leverage. When the balls are tight, you've got to be very precise with your cue ball movement. But with the table the way it is, he can just... I mean, this is being a bit insulting by saying smashing the balls about, but he can play the cue ball where he doesn't have to be within a few millimetres. Generally speaking, as you can see here, He might have been going for one of those ones on the cushion he was nearest to, but then he's got the flexibility to play a few different shots.
Yeah, we'll see if he... Oh, what's he played for there? I thought he was going to come
13.
back for the blue again, but no, he's tried...
He's played for the black, but he's a bit too close to the cushion for my liking.
These are not easy. These are tricky shots. Oh,
I don't black. I think he's going to duck out of this and go for the long blue.
The cheap blue, as it was called last season by CaptainGoodspeed himself on commentary.
No, I don't know if he's playing with a little bit of backspin here. Does the cue ball stay where it is? It does. I thought he might have maybe played that with a hint of safety, but no. As we've seen throughout, he's going all out. And based on this frame isn't going to last too long. Oh, yes, you can see that red. That's okay.
This is a very decent start by CaptainGoodspeed here, and I don't think LeeMc will be comfortable watching this. Of course, a best of 3 frames, and I believe
19.
we're showcasing them one... Oh no, it is a best of 3 frame match, okay. I just know last year they did it over 1 frame videos, but this is a best of 3. So yeah, the first round's best of 3 in this tournament. Yes.
One thing that Joe has got to do, based on what he's done so far, he has to keep that blue on the spot, doesn't he? If he can't keep that blue on the spot, I guess he's got the backup with the pink. But that blue ball is so important to this break continuing. He's playing some nice snooker now. He's coming down the table for the black.
Again, it feels like he's not getting on the black the way that he would like, and
that cheap blue's not available to him this time.
So is he going to go for the green? Is that going to be his safety net again? Looks like it.
I think he is playing it more of safety net. If you look at the pace of this shot, it's not going to be too fast. Playing it with a bit of top, so
this would be
giving himself an opportunity.
This would be 6 reds and 4 greens, and that's not great, is it?
But I'll tell you what, it's bang on accurate.
Right in the heart of the pocket, as Mr. Hannard would say.
28.
He's potting the reds. He just. I know that Joe would wish he was on a better colour after this next red. I'm sure he would.
Yeah, you're just chasing your tail, aren't you, if you have to keep playing up bulk. That's the unfortunate bit about this.
But of course, positioning in Master Plus is very difficult, even for players who've played it for hours. You know, Joe's played a whole season on it, and it's hard work, as I'm sure a lot of the players will show this tournament.
Black's not his friend, is it?
No.
Really not his friend.
Absolutely not.
Having to play the yellow this time, this is tough. Not so much the pot maybe, but position's going to be tough from here. The pot should go in, good favourable contact with the cushion.
Oh, he's got...
I mean, only 6 reds left on the table, so he's done a very good job here. Obviously, the break not anywhere near as large as he'd want because he's had to play a lot of low-value colours. However, this might just be the chance. If he can hold the cue ball, maybe screw back slightly or come down the table, whatever he prefers, he might just be able to hold for the black this time.
Oh,
Split the 2 reds, and that's worked out well.
Finally, he's on the black. Now, come on, Joe, don't miss the black.
32.
Finally, you've got a chance. I thought he was going for a world record lowest clearance there, but possibly not. And he's
he looks okay.
He's played that well. And
he has, and that black's in a nice position actually. I know it's trivial to say because it goes on its spot every time, but those 2 reds now turning to 1 red are in quite a nice position. But once again, he might try this black, but again, it's not quite perfect, and he's going to need a little bit of help here to get onto the next red. Obviously, that red that you can see by the black isn't available into the pocket that he's closest to, so he's probably going to have to look at something different. Let's see. But he's potted the black. That's the most important thing. It's going for the one I would say nearest the pink spot.
And we should say that Joe, he's almost got the frame wrapped up here. There's not too many reds left.
He has, but yeah, that's a good point actually. He won't need the 2 on the cushion. In fact, he won't need the next 3, will he? If he gets this black, that is all set and done.
It's made hard.
In fact, it's all done already.
Well, to stop LeeMc coming for snookers, this black would help. But it's made hard work of it, but he's got the job done, it seems.
Yeah, well, it seems I'm as good as maths as John Virgo, but with that black and the red you saw beforehand, the black has definitely secured the frame. A sketchy break of 55, it's fair to say that won't go down as the break of the tournament. I could be talking too soon, though. It could be the high break, you never know. Everyone else is going to struggle. But in a best of 3, long matches, as we see at the Real Life World Championships, best of 19, even a best of 7, best of 9, players aren't really going to be bothered by that. But here, in a best of 3. I mean, he's still got the potential to make a special break of 99. Needs this cue ball to travel. That is a very good shot. Very good shot. But can he quite make this? Unfortunately, as I said, he can. He can make the century, can't he? He can. Yeah. To think I did A-level maths. But penultimate red's been cleared. Again, the black's still not his friend.
No.
Still a bit of a cutback on this. This is going to be the most challenging red to get on yet. I know he's made hard work of this, but he's going to continue to do so.
See if he can do it.
Oh, that's finished it, I think. Heavy contact with the blue there, and if you can pop this red, then I'll eat my hat as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that is a video I would love to see.
Yeah, well, he's just going to whack this about and hope for the best. He's hit the red.
He's hit the red. Is Toby going to end up doing a Mark Williams style dare? No, he's not. That's a shame.
But a very good frame there from Joe. So based on that, this match might not take us very long.
No.
So
this might be
one-sided there. Nothing from LeeMc147.
Well, that was more like a shootout frame. You know, over in 10 minutes.
It was, and even though this is going to sound ridiculous, Joe made that look very easy. Even though it really wasn't, because any of those pots to bulk could have gone wrong. That's the last thing you want to do, really, is in a match like this in the first frame, start playing the cue ball all around the table. You want to keep things tight, but amazingly, whilst it didn't look so, he did keep that fairly tight by staying on the reds. Sure, it was helped by him opening up the reds. Of course, he missed that black, which opened up the reds altogether. Just makes me wonder whether both players here are going to go a lot more conservative, particularly LeeMc, because he's seen what could happen if you open up the reds. And that shot there, I think, tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, this could be a bit of tippy-tappy snooker, this frame, if Joe can't get on these reds. It might just be a case of not leaving anything on here. Joe being very careful, I'm sure. He's not going to do anything rash. Well, I presume he's not going to.
He's got a few options here, hasn't he? He can play off the edge red on the left-hand side of the pack, or indeed the right-hand side. Now, the one he's looking at, of course, he's trying to leave this effectively in the jaws of the corner pocket, which makes things a little bit tricky for him, for Lee, that is. Now, you would guess Lee would just play up to these, but might just try and flick off. I'm not quite sure of the angle, whether he can flick off the nearest red, get back up to bulk and get away with it. The problem is he's going to have to play that with a bit of power. I just wonder whether that ball is going to travel, but I don't think it's going to be enough to threaten things now. For all you clever clogs out there, that red would go, but to get the angle on that would be quite incredible. So he's just played very thin nick off that red. And, well,
I mean, that would have been
this is going to be one that's going to last a while.
Yeah, this is going to be a bit of back and forth, I think. Just, you know, a bit of a safety battle, a bit of a positional battle, and yeah, it's. I mean, it's a shame they can't ask for a re-rack. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah, I agree with that. Both players know there's a lot at stake, though. Here, I can completely understand why they're playing like this, particularly in the case of Lee. Give your opponent a chance, it could be all over. Joe gives an opponent a chance, and he's back in the game. It's obviously a loss for whoever gives them the chance, but not so much for Joe. He can give up that frame, but he ain't going to give it up easy. So what's he doing here? That is about as thin as you could get on the red. And at least that's something a little bit different. We're not having a tap fest, if you like. Is Joe having a look at this red?
Oh, is this going to be a good speed special shot to nothing? I think he's lining it up.
This does go, as we saw earlier.
It's a risky shot.
Let's see. Nope, no. It misses, but he's got the safety. And where's that cue ball? It's okay, it's up in bulk. And if it sits, it's just ahead, a few millimetres ahead of the brown spot. Now, if you look, if Lee plays this shot wrong, or somebody gets this shot wrong, there is the red that's closest to the black, fairly in line with the black spot, just above it to the left. That if someone plays a shot wrong, that can be seen for a pot. And based on what Joe did last time, open up the pack, and it makes you wonder what the potential is.
What would your tactic be here, Toby? Would you just smash into the pack? Would you continue playing safe, or would you roll up? What would be your method here?
Well, I wouldn't go for that. That's a brave shot. I'd
That is a bit of a roll up, isn't it?
Off the pack. I'd play off the pack. You've got to play thin off the pack. You've almost got to play a game of who blinks first with your opponent. My mentality when it comes to this is always make your opponent play the tricky shot. And sometimes you can get a bit irked, and that exactly is the whole battle of who blinks first.
Well, he's left.
You can start getting fed up. He has left.
These are tempters, aren't they? These two.
Yeah. And to be honest, if they go wrong, what does he leave on?
Well, it depends.
But I think Joe being a bit more sensible and clearly us without the pressure on.
I think he went for that though, and he's possibly left it on.
Yeah, he did. It was a bit of this, a bit of that. In effect, it was neither here nor there. And he's had a bit of fortune with where that red sat, because this can be an awkward one. Maybe not so much the pot, but to hold the position would be tricky from here. Let's see how he gets on. So he's potted it. This cue ball needs to pull up, so he's going to have to play the blue here.
I think the blue and the green, they've been the most popular balls this match so far.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know whether someone's got a bet on, but if they do, they're doing very well. Of course, Captain Goodspeed 50-1 with Betfred to win the title. They're not bad odds, are they?
Well, what can I say?
Oh,
nothing to add there. just making sure the points there, Lee. Yep. Clearly.
Good to remind the viewers at home how much each ball's worth.
Yeah, well, if you were watching for the first time, you might be fooled by thinking that playing up to the bulk is the best idea and playing yellows and greens. But whilst any colour is enough, it's really good and beneficial to stay on these high colours. Now, I always struggle to see from the top-down view of the table. This red does go, doesn't it? It does. It passes the black, but not on this occasion.
No, it was very tight.
It passes the black, but it beats the pocket.
And this frame shows how different snooker can be, really, because last frame, over in 10 minutes. This frame, we're about 6 minutes in, and they've scored 6 points. That's it.
Yep, absolutely. Now, the fortune that Lee's got of not playing that too hard is, yes, he's gone into the pack, but the red has stayed, the cue ball, has stayed exactly where it was. It's just gone into the pack slightly. A few of the reds have come out, but it's not made too much of a difference. Now, what does Joe do here? This just about gets the thinnest nick possible.
Did he hit it?
On that red, he did. He did just about hit it. And this just comes back to who blinks first. Ultimately, does Lee try and get one ball up bulk? I mean, I think it's a bit early for that yet. I don't think he's quite got the angle. Maybe from the other side he might do, but that isn't going to happen yet. He's just going to play into the pack. And what that does, it brings the cluster back together. The problem is that if someone dares to play back up to bulk, if they get this wrong, there are two reds that could be potentially potted, and based on Joe's good pot earlier, could be tempters. So I think what Joe's trying to do is to realise the potential of a thin nick off the red, decide against it, and maybe go back to that shot that I was suggesting first off. No? Okay, well, he's not taking too much time over each shot, is he? He's been very, I wouldn't call it indecisive, but he's ruling out ideas quickly and just going for the shot that you might well expect and just going into the pack, but this could just end up in a stalemate.
Well, yeah, he had to look at a few different shots there, and I think he went for what was the safest bet, but it's definitely not the best bet to move the match forward. But there's not much you can do. When the balls are, in that bunch like that, you don't want to take too many risks, especially in a short frame format. If it was a best of 19, he's taking a risk there though. Lee, well done to him as he tried to play behind the yellow.
That was touching ball then, was it? That was touching ball. Must have been, because he played out of the pack.
Oh, he's played that very well. Look at that, right near the baulk cushion up there. Perfect.
He's played it very well, but he might not be rewarded here. Joe is going for the jugular. He's going to go into the pack. This needs to go in.
Oh, no. Oh, that's a
He's
big chance for Lee now. Huge chance for Lee, you have to say.
double-edged sword when you play a shot like that in terms of what Lee played. If Joe pots that, it could be frame over. Equally, if Joe doesn't miss that, it really opens things up. It's just leaving that tempter again. It's very much a battle of the mind, this game. And Lee's in here. So what can Lee do? This is the first we've seen of Lee.
1.
Joe did a very good job last frame. How can Lee get on? There's a few loose reds, which he can certainly develop. Black as well is in a better position. But he's probably going to have to play the blue on this occasion. And the question is, he's actually playing the green.
The green again.
Which again is the popular ball. I suppose the green is a bit more linear in terms of its position. The blue, he'd have to go all around the houses. And I think at this point, knowing that if he plays a bad shot and it's all over, he might not be tempted to do that. But let's see how he gets on here.
At this rate, Toby, you could say that the other balls would be green with envy.
Very good. But that...
Oh, that's a very good shot. I'd say the most positive shot Lee's played this frame, and I think he's got his reward there. He's got plenty of opportunities. I think he'll probably go for the green again, and then there's so many reds in the open now. This is a big chance.
It is. I feel like we ought to go and put the kettle on, because this could be a big break and frame all over. It feels like Joe ought to sit in his seat for a while here, because surely from this point Lee can get something sizable on the board. Whether it not potentially be that he does it in this one visit, he can certainly get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 reds in this break. And get something of a sizable lead, and then maybe put Joe in trouble. But let's see what he can develop. That green being the ball again. Good contact with the near jaw. That could have gone wrong. And now,
8.
Does he play the red to then hold for the black? Joe really struggled with holding for the black. And to get position on it with that cluster of 4 reds near the black spot, he's got to be a little bit below that, which makes it a bit of a cutback. What is he going to do here? Massive pressure. Opens those reds up. And he's played that very well. Perfectly, in fact.
9.
To get onto the pink. That was a win-win, that was, because it opens up the 2 reds that were previously in that cluster of 4. Lee looks like a man who is really up for this, despite... I know my bottle would have gone by this point, even losing that first frame, knowing that any mistake you made could be over.
Well, he's...
But just gently potting that in.
Of course, you're not taking part in the championship, are you, Toby? Were you not tempted to buy a PlayStation 4 to join the championship?
Well, that's why I got the commentary gig. I need a bit of cash before I do that.
Oh, I see. You've done the. You're a bit like what Alan McManus is doing nowadays, then.
Yeah.
You've hung up your cue, and you're going to be around the BBC commentary box for many decades to come.
Yeah, well, let's see. Who knows? Let's see. Let's see how Lee gets on. So he's on a break of 22 after this pink. If it goes, and a favourable drop there. He's going to have to play this with top. Queuing off that ball. He might just get away with this, but he's going to have to go into the centre pocket, which suggests here. Don't really fancy that one that he's nearest to, actually. That's just personal preference. I'd be going for that one into the middle, and that's what he thinks as well. But what he has done that Joe didn't do, and maybe this is just a bit of luck about it, he's made this a little bit easier for himself. He played those 2 greens, and unless I'm mistaken, he's now played 2 pinks in a row. So he's getting his ducks in a row, potting the reds, getting on the high value colours. That's the best way to win a frame, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is this is the opportunity everyone wants in this World Championship. You want to be among the Red Bulls, among the high value colours. You can do what Joe did last frame and have a big frame with, many greens and some blues. But ideally, you want to be on the pink and black, because it just gets the frame over a lot quicker and puts your opponent in trouble. Another good pot there by Lee. He's good with the rest. He's very good with the rest.
Definitely.
30.
And his all-round game, I know it's early on here, but his all-round game is looking good. Obviously, it goes without saying he needs this frame lose this one, and it's a clean sweep for the Juggernauts, he's calling him. Not the Juggernaut. The Juggernaut, Joe has nicknamed himself.
It was very close to Judd's nickname there. I'm not sure what Joe's going for there.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I think we ought to stick with the Rocket, personally.
Yeah, or maybe something to do with Captain. Maybe, like, I don't know.
Green Lantern, I suppose. We could be after the last frame. But we'll see.
It could be, yeah.
We'll see if that one catches on or whether it's just whether it's a rarity. I don't know whether we've got one for Lee, though, but I guess Mr. Consistent might be the way to go so far, because he's playing a really solid game. I know we're almost making fun of Joe's break, but what's harder to do? It's a real question, isn't it? What's harder to do? Is it harder to keep it balanced like this and hope every flick, every cannon goes correct and play it precisely? Or is it harder to just prey on that almost a bit of luck, play those long shots, hope they go in? There's something different about both ways of playing, isn't there? Because I feel like you need a lot of nerve, whatever you're going to do. Whether you're playing the long pots, whether you're going a little bit smoother, I'd call it, with the precise position. There's an art to both forms of the game, isn't there?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many. You want to make centuries, you want to make big breaks, but as long as you win the frame, I don't think Joe will be too bothered about not, making a century. And I think Lee here will be. I mean, he's going to be eyeing up a high break here. I don't know if he's going to make a century or not, because he's
44.
He's going to have to stay away from those greens to get one. But again, as long as he's potting balls, as long as he puts the frame away, he'll be happy.
Absolutely, and I think that's exactly what he's going to do here without jinxing him. Has he gone a little bit low on this blue?
45.
That could be a threat. Does he then go back up to bulk? Does he dare and play the black from here? I think, yes, he should be able to see it, but that's just a real tough shot.
I think that would be madness, playing the black from here.
It would. But he's got to play something with some risk, because play the blue, it's an awkward position from there. So he's going for the green.
He's gone back to the green.
Come off the cushion with some side, and that is excellent.
Fantastic.
That is probably the shot of the match so far. And I think Joe more so will be worried about this. Again, not to make fun out of Joe, and we know Joe's a very good player, but based on his break, Lee's been a lot more precise. There's been a lot more gumption about this, as I'd call it. This has been solid match play. Solid safety. He gave Joe the tempt, which was a risk, because it could have gone either way. It could have been Joe in this position, and we could have been talking about a very quick match where Lee loses. But ultimately, a lot of this we have to discuss comes down to that initial safety we played, because we called it brave at the time, didn't we? But that bravery has really paid off, and should pay off here. He can see this last red, and that'll be the frame.
Well, I'm just trying to work out what that word means, Toby. Was it gumption? Gumption?
Well, I've got a Collins English dictionary, but it's in the wardrobe, so I can't get it out at the moment. But let's just leave it at a phrase that sounds good and probably means nothing like what I'd expect it to be.
Well,
but nevertheless, it sounds good, so we'll leave it there.
It might be a word from the days of Steve Davis and Alex Higgins. Who knows?
Yeah, well, not long ago, goodness me. The Viking Age. But it's one each now. It is one each, and I think we have to discuss, as I said earlier, about that was the shot, wasn't it? The brave shot. The one that it was tippy-tappy snooker. We could have still been there now had it not been for Lee playing that shot. To be quite honest, I think both of these players are fairly aggressive. I think Joe more likely would have just played something a bit more aggressive before now, but nevertheless, he's played some world-class snooker. There's no doubt about it here. But it's not all about the potting. That brave shot, he tempted Joe to play a pot. The question, I guess, is here, if Joe would have potted that long one, does he make the same break as Lee does here? With your crystal ball, does he make the same break?
I don't know, It's very hard to tell. I guess I mean, it's going to depend on how the next frame goes, whether
72.
the balls are open. But what we can say is Lee here. There's a tough red on the cushion, but if he can get it, he's on for a clearance, isn't he?
He is. Now, naming no names from last year, because somebody did play in that first match that was televised, and that first match was a mixture of missed pots,
72.
head in your hands moments. This has been nowhere near that, has it? It's been sublime. Both players have potted the ball so well. And it's just a case of whoever gets in that final frame. If we saw a bit of tippy-tappy snooker this frame, you bet we're going to get a lot of it next time out.
Yeah, I think it'll be more Shredsville. That's the word I've heard them use. Jimmy White said it. David Hendon said it. It'll be a lot more nervy, a lot more, a lot more twitchy possibly. But Lee here, he's looking for a tough red along the cushion.
It's there.
Oh, there we go. This should be a century. You don't want to jinx it, but the way he's potted these balls, he's not looked like he's in much trouble. Of course, this is Lee.
He potted that red originally, didn't he? I was thinking, why isn't this a full clearance? But of course, he potted the red and the blue, didn't he? He potted the red and the blue before making this break. That's right, yeah. So not a full clearance this will be, but nevertheless a very impressive break. Looks like it could be a century, but we've just got to hang on a little bit yet. He needs 14 points for that. Don't blow it now. So here comes the yellow. That's a break of 88.
Well, and I think the psychological impact when your opponent clears up like this, like Joe will not be comfortable. He will not be happy here, and Lee will. He'll be cock of the walk. He'll be strutting around. He'll feel great about his game right now.
So green, brown and blue for an exact break of 100. And then the pink and black will give him the clearance of 113. But the brown should be on. That'll give him 95.
And that was the fifth green of this break for people keeping count at home.
The brown's there. It's just going to be... I think if I was him... Just roll this in. Yeah. Because if you roll it in, then you've got half a chance of getting on the pink naturally. It's not a shot that you have to do too much to get on, although I could be proven wrong here and he might roll this in and not be on the pink at all. But surely the first century of the match...
Yeah, just guarantee the blue here.
Who knows? Maybe the first century of the tournament. Of course, this is the first match that we're watching.
Ton up!
So...
Ton up there!
Where are all the fans with the placards?
I know.
Disappointing.
Awful.
But what a century that was. What a century that was. And again, my opinion doesn't turn out to be right, which has happened once or twice before, but it's a very rare occurrence. He misses the pink. I tell you what, that was close. It was just the pace that kept that one out.
Well,
but it's Lee who takes the second frame.
Frame conceded.
The spoils are renewed. It's one frame apiece.
Thank you.
And now it's time for the decider. Who's it going to be before Lee takes this break? Come on, I want a name. Who's going to win this match?
Well, it's hard to rule out Lee there based on that performance. But then Captain Goodspeed, he's got the experience. So, I'm going to stick my neck out. I'm going to say I think Joe will get this, but I think it'll be close. I think this will be a much edgier frame, a much closer frame, and who knows? It could be a finish on the colours. That's my prediction.
Well, let's see. Full commentary of us here, obviously, and that's how it's going to be for the rest of the tournament. We've got a commentary team together, including yours truly. We've got Joe, Captain Goodspeed, on the commentary team as well.
Chinny, he'll be coming back from last year.
Yeah, Chinny's back.
I've missed him.
Yeah, definitely. There's some great commentaries between Chinny and Joe. There really was. And that's half the enjoyment of it. You know, we love watching the players play. We've obviously got the World Championships reel going on at the moment. But we've also got this virtual World Championship. I know we're not allowed to call it that, but nobody from Ripstone will really be watching this, so I think we're safe.
Yeah.
Unless they make a late move to put it on their channel, and let's just hope they don't watch the entirety of this through. But
I mean, just to be
an interesting safety.
just to be safe, if you want to sue anyone, just remember this will be on Joe's YouTube channel. So if anyone's unhappy about us calling this the official Virtual World Championship, then get in touch with Captain Goodspeed and he'll pay you off.
I'll second that. He did win a few pound on the golf the other week. Not as much as me, but he did win a mighty £7. So if you want to take him to court over that £7, then you know where to go. Now this already is a bit twitchy. Not much quarter being given. One ball out the pack. That's from Lee's break-off. No surprise that both players are just going to take a little bit longer about it here. Size it up.
Well, we should
See.
say, of course, for those who haven't seen the full draw, that this year, both of last year's finalists, Rainy Lamb and Madiju, they're not taking part. So every player in this, they'll be... and he's rolled up there. That is... I mean, that's... Some would say negative. Other people would say, it's the only shot he had. And Joe's got no real opportunity to do anything but another roll-up. But yeah, with no Maditude, no Rainy Lamb, I think both players will be thinking, if I can get through this match, then it's just a few more to get your hands on that trophy.
Absolutely. That first round really is the worst to get through. I think that everyone panics about that first round. But let's see. We don't know how the others are going to get on just yet. Let's see.
Of course, this is going on while the real World Championship is going on, and I mean, who are your picks for the final, Toby? I believe you said Higgins was one of them.
Yeah, Higgins and Judd Trump were my two picks, but it again, much like this tournament, I think it's wide open. We've got the favourites and the seeds. A little bit different though this tournament, of course, with the seeds. You can see that there's not, without being too harsh, there's not that gap. Particularly in this match, anyway, between the two players. Joe's not hit that.
Oh, just short.
And in a frame like this, can a 4 points like that make the difference? It absolutely can.
Well, this
He's put Joe back in for this. He's going to play the same shot, which I don't blame him for. Give up 4 points, maybe even 8, and just play the right shot. This is going to be okay this time.
As you say, they're very even players. This is a bit like a Bingham against Ding, like very quality players. They can pull out a century, but at the same time, there's the occasional mistake, and that's what makes it exciting.
Absolutely. So very tense in this final frame. It didn't take long in the previous frames. Although the second frame a lot longer than the first, it was still, in relation to some of the classics, a very short safety exchange. This might well be the same. We're in very much a deja vu situation here.
Well, it's got more of a nervy feel though, hasn't it? Because both players know that one mistake and your opponent can clear up. They've both shown each other that. So you're not going to feel comfortable. You're not going to want to be the person to give your opponent that big chance.
The only thing I would say on this occasion is that one red that is split away from the pack, that one that is potable, you've got to be brave to take that on. It's a more acute angle this time. What's he looking at here? Is he going to play up to the bulk? This looks like what he's going to do. Is he? Is he going to try and get him behind the... Well, he's using the green again. Not to pot this time, you'll be glad. I think he's trying to use the green and block off that one that is potable and force his opponent maybe into a mistake. Let's see. He might change his mind, but you can just see the tension of this frame. Joe's having a look.
He's having a look here, just seeing if it's safe.
How do I block my opponent off from taking on a pot? He's going to take this on. Well, not the pot, but he's going to take on the shot to try and get in behind the green. This hasn't quite got the power, I don't think.
Well,
however,
it should be safe. He's kind of got a bit of luck there, I think. It's not perfect, but...
Yeah, it should be safe. As I was just going to say, I think that in a frame like this, you're going to have to be very brave to take that big red on. And Lee, understandably, taking Tom over this. I mean, what he could do to bring this back in is bring that red back into the pack, the one that's free. He's going to take this on. What a shot.
Lovely shot. That is a cracker. Wow, that could be a huge shot here. First chance, Lee, and he's opened the reds up.
The problem is he's not really on anything. He's not even on that green.
No, I know.
He can't even get to the green. So yellow is the only option here. And this is the kind of table now. You're going to struggle to keep that safe, aren't you, if you play safe here? Yeah. There's even that one at bulk. Is he going to pop the yellow? Yes. That was the trickiest shot yet in the frame. Okay, he's in now. Joe could have played his last shot. Lee strikes again. I think Joe might just be mulling in his chair. Maybe not regretting the shot that he just took because he didn't do a lot wrong. But he might just be mulling over that shot in frame 2. The brave pot he took on that I think's really opened up this match. If he'd have stayed cool for a little bit longer, we might not have seen any of Lee in this tournament. We might not have seen many pots at all. The big crucial thing is here, there could be a stopper if he plays this wrong. He's going to take the black on here, isn't he? You would have thought.
He has to. He has to go for the black here. But he might be in trouble. If he goes into those reds, you don't want to get caught in the middle of them. So he needs to be careful with where the cue ball goes off this black if he goes for it.
So that's the black potted. Where's the cue ball? Oh, he's got a...
11.
I say he's had a few lucky cannons there, but what's the situation on the table? There's a few pots he can go for, but nothing easy. Well, no,
exactly. He has got a little bit stuck there. A few reds in the way of other reds, and he's maybe got one to the middle he might go for, or maybe he'll go for one to the... Is he going for the top corner?
This is brave.
He is.
It's got a good line. It's got a good line. What a pot.
Beautiful. And on the blue. Lovely shot.
If I'm going to be critical, a little bit short, just slightly, but maybe that's the leverage he wants to get on this one that's up. But to be honest, I don't think anybody's too bothered about position of that shot. Just get the ball potted, that's the main thing, and then worry about position later. So he's going to play yellow here.
I was sure he was going to go for the blue there, you know.
Yeah, it seemed like too good an opportunity to miss, but
14.
I can understand it. A little bit straight in terms of his queuing. Make sure he gets onto the next red. I think the main thing here, because personally, the way he's had a little bit of unfortunate luck with cannons, etc. in this frame so far, he might go for the jugular, but what he might look to do more so is just get a good break on the board and then try and play the mind games with Joe. Play the safeties, irritate him, make it easier for himself. But I think there is one man that is that much closer to the second round. He's only got a slender lead, which of course can be caught up so quickly in this third frame. But nevertheless, a lead is a lead.
That's a good blue.
All you ask for in these deciders is to get a chance,
yeah,
isn't
and that's a good blue he's got there, and he's building a nice tidy lead. He's not...
Can you give the players the respect they deserve and make sure your phones are off or on silent, please?
Oh, okay. Someone's got their phone on. I've just heard that. Everyone turn your phones off at home, please.
Huh.
Bit of a bizarre introduction there. Maybe it's Joe texting someone in the audience asking for some help. Who knows?
Yeah, or maybe doing a Mark Williams and nibbling on... No, I'm not going to finish that sentence. It's... let's just call them wine gums. Oh, no, let's not. Again, this is a PG 21. Competition. Let's not go into any holes that I might not be able to dig myself out of.
Well, holes Joe doesn't want to find himself in. He does work in a school, you know, so you should be very careful.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good point.
Joe would not get away with...
Metaphorically, at least, he's found himself in a big hole here because
28.
there are at least a couple of reds at the absolute worst that Lee can pot. That will give him a lead if he stays on one of the big colours of 45-50. Going to look at probably having 75, 80 on the table at most. if Lee makes the most of this opportunity, as I said, it's just toying with Joe then. This might be all she wrote.
29.
And yeah, you have to feel for Joe here. You know, he's the one who's helped organise this event. He's put this tournament together, and of course he's got about 16,000 fans at home, or is it 17? He's got a lot of fans at home who'll be really, really, you know, wishing him well and wanting him to win this, and maybe that pressure has taken its toll. Who knows?
But he's not done a lot wrong, has he?
Well, no, I think Lee
off shot slightly, but Lee has been so clinical. Any chance he's had, he's taken it to the max, which is what Joe did in frame 1, and made Joe favourite for the match, obviously. But Lee has turned that round with the excellent century in the last frame, and who knows, he might follow it here. He's got a few options here.
In many ways, he's been fantastic. Reminds me a bit of Shaun Murphy in 2005 when he was the very much unpredicted winner of the World Championship. But oh my word, has he missed it?
He has stopped right there. That one was a close one. The centre pockets are so unforgiving, and that one looked just a little bit too close.
Big moment in the match.
To the jaw.
Big moment, and surely is Joe. Can he get through to this? He can. This is huge.
He can. Just take a second to breathe. Take a second to breathe. Don't play this haphazardly. He hasn't played this with much pace. So the red's there. It comes off the cushion and he's on to the black. Now, Joe inherits the very good chance that Lee had. By moving that red over the centre pocket, he's got what you might describe as a gimme. From the right angle, of course. I think maybe, is that what he's looking at here? Play the blue to then line up for the red. But let's see. He's going to play the black, I would think, here. The problem is, well, let's see what he plays here. I don't think he's playing what I think he's going to play. No, he is. He's just playing that with a lot of pace, but keeping the cue ball on a string.
8.
Which he's got to do now. He's got to match what Lee did. There's none of this whacking the ball round and hoping for the best, which is a very bad way to describe, very amateurish way to describe what Joe did in the first frame. But compared to how Lee played, it almost feels like that break from Lee in the last frame, what he did in this frame that's just gone, was, as we said, nothing short of magnificent. But even the best make mistakes, and that mistake could be fatal. I just feel like Joe might approach this with a lot of caution. He's going to go one of two ways. He's going to go all out and think, well, if I don't win it on this opportunity, then that's fair enough. Or he just accumulates a couple of points and then he assumes position as the one who makes it awkward. But he should be able to get a few more points, you would think, here. He should pop the red to the middle. I'm guessing that's what he was looking for before. Maybe the blue following it.
And he is. I mean, again, he's gotten much higher colours here in this break already than he did in the first frame. He's already got a blue. He's got a black. He should get another blue from this, you'd expect, unless he's going to play for possibly the black. You know, he's putting a lot of power on this, so maybe he's playing for the black. I'm not too sure.
Not quite sure himself. He's taking it on now, though. That shot's neither here nor there for me.
No, as you said, I don't think he was sure himself. He's in the middle of the two, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in the middle of nowhere, and he's gonna
gone to the yellow.
Take on the yellow.
Well, I mean,
which is a get out of jail free in a sense, because you can try and target this red on the cushion, but it's not really the one I'd be looking at. I'd be looking at forgetting that one and trying to leave that one until there's a crisis. But I guess this might be part of the disaster recovery plan. But I'll tell you what, he's played this well. Just needs this pull up slightly. And he's given himself two options here. Play that one
17.
up bulk.
That is a great shot. And if he plays one of these reds,
or play this one
surely
here.
He can. Oh, I don't think the pink goes. You know, I was going to say surely he can get the red then the pink, but maybe he can pot one red, move the other red, and then get the pink. Who knows?
He's come off the cushion. This is very much black territory.
He's on the black. That's even better.
18.
Now he's on the black, but he's also very much on the cushion.
He can't do too much with the cue ball.
Trying to screw back here. He can't do too much, as you say. And the red's on the wrong side here to go to the middle pocket, but he's done enough. He's done enough with his cue ball. The break continues.
Well, maybe Joe's a new favourite here. He's got, a few reds he can get very easily. He's started getting the Yeah, look, they all go. He can pot all of them. He's in very good position here, you know.
He has, but I think the one thing that hurts him is that red being up bulk. If there's only these 4 reds left, I'd be inclined to agree with you that he's very much the favourite. But if he makes a mistake or gets out of position, that safety shot is one that you might not fancy anymore because of that red that's up bulk. But he's played that one well. He's put that into a more potable position.
26.
He's then going to play the black. With every shot that goes by here, you'd suggest that Joe is favourite. And there's... Really, it's amazing, isn't it? How these matches, particularly these short matches, can indeed turn around. I mean, we were only talking a few minutes ago that Joe had played very well here and hadn't done a lot wrong, but he's not going to be able to get the fruits. And I didn't think I'd be sitting here a few minutes later and with a red and a good enough colour, he's going to take the lead back again and very much be the favourite. So this red's in, he's going to hold the cue ball for the black, and this is the big shot, isn't it? This is where it becomes interesting.
This is very much a deep breath moment. You need to just line it up, take a breath, take your time, Joe. Because he'll be feeling this. He'll be really feeling. There'll be a lot of emotions out there.
Just don't miss it. And it's right in the middle of the pocket. The problem with that is that he didn't really play for the position. Now, you can play this long pot, and in a regular frame, you'd think it's one, yeah, I'll go for. But in a frame like this, nothing is a gimme.
I mean, yeah.
Achievable, but brave.
He would have wanted an easier shot from there, I'm sure. This is a stinker, this one.
But he's going to take it on. The pot's dropped, and he's on the black. I think he'd have probably liked to get a little bit higher on that, but once again, he's almost faced himself with a mirror shot. I think he has to play this, and in my mind, he might have more bottle than me. Then play safe. Now, you've got the lead. You'll have what? 3. You'll have a 4. You'll have an 11-point lead if he pots the black.
Oh, that's a very, very good shot. Fantastic shot by Joe. That's brave. That is very brave.
Absolutely, and that is a very good shot. But again, none of these are gimmies. I've just got a feeling about this. I hope I'm wrong. You know, one of those things when you just watch it and you think disaster could strike? Thank God I'm wrong there on Joe's part.
I thought you were going to jinx him there, Toby, I'll be honest.
50.
Now, surely, he can't play the black from here. He's going to do a very good job, though, to play the blue. He's got to play a lot of screw back on side to get onto this red. The problem is he doesn't want to play enough that he screws it back enough to go in off.
This is a very... I mean, yeah, no one will be silly enough to do that, I'm sure, Toby. But this is a very tricky red to get on from here. But
I know it sounds daft enough, but he's still got to pop the blue. That's easier said than done.
If you don't want to put too much thought into position, then miss the pot.
Now, he's played the blue well. And he has got a position on the red. Being right on the cushion isn't going to help. And just the distance between cue ball and object ball doesn't help either. 17 points between the two. This red gives him a big stronghold because obviously that means that Lee can only score a maximum of 27 from there on in. This red, I would suggest, is the big shot.
Well, he's going for it.
And it's there. He's potted the red. He's now the big favourite. Does he go for the jugular? Does he just go for this now?
56.
Or is this now the time to play safe? If he can pot the pink, high value colour, and this comes to him, it really does, because he'll then be 23 ahead with the blue he's looking at, with 27 left on the table. He'll just need yellow and green from then on. But again, all of this, easier said than done.
Wow, and his positioning actually, this break, has been much better than in the first frame.
Absolutely.
Whether he just had to warm up or not, I don't know, but what a shot this will be. There we go.
It's there. And that yellow is in as good a position as you can imagine. Is it as straight as a die? It is pretty well. He's going to have to play this for a little bit of angle. Surely, barring Snooker, this is match over now.
I mean, 99 times out of 100, Joe would clearly is up.
And there's one. Oh, he's got it wrong.
What's he done?
63.
Well, I think you put the jinx on him rather than me. His positioning was so good throughout the break. He just forgot to screw back for the green.
Right.
You can't tell me that was in the plan all
No,
along.
that was in no one's plan. And this is right at the end where he's so close to having the match signed, sealed, delivered, but this could be this will be a very nervy shot for Joe. Now he'll be very, very annoyed at himself for that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, we're already in re-potted black territory. If Lee can't get a snooker and he clears these up, it is onto the re-spotted black. And surely this match can't come down to that. But if there is any match that would, it's this. I'm guessing Joe looks, because this will go. You know, if he plays this at such a brilliant angle, it will go. But you just can't play for that. Equally, I think he's got to get this ball safe, because if Lee does clear these 5 balls, then a re-spotted black is just a lottery.
Yeah, if Lee cleared these, it would be like if you were, you were 2-0 up with 10 minutes left, and then you've gone to penalties. You'd never feel happy about it. Joe would know that he shouldn't be in this position. He should have wrapped this frame up, and he'll know that. And that in its own sense puts its own pressure on him.
Yeah, absolutely. Taking a lot of time over this shot. It's already been 60 seconds. What does he do here?
This could be a CaptainGoodspeed record. I've never seen him take so long over a shot, you know?
Well, the pressure is on. It's match ball, this. If you can't pot it, you wouldn't say from here. It's tricky to know with the shot power he's taking. Is he playing this to get in behind the brown? Is he just playing this to move the green? This going more towards the cushion now suggests he might be looking for safety, but this will go if he is to play it at such an angle, but that would be brave at this point.
Well, right now, this feels less like Ronnie O'Sullivan and more like Fergal O'Brien.
Yeah. But well within his rights to do so.
Oh.
Well within his rights to do so here. It's a real tricky one. Hindsight will be a wonderful thing here after he's played this shot, which doesn't look to be any time soon. And I think there might be a small grin on Tian's face when he realises that when all might have been over, he might just be back in this match.
Why are you looking at... Joe, you can't play the blue. Why are you looking at that one, mate? What's he doing?
Well, it all comes into the psyche at this point.
I think he's just very unsure of what to go for. I don't feel...
We saw that indecisiveness earlier,
the
didn't we?
pot here, I think, would be incredible. I'd be amazed. He's the only...
I guess the main thing to do here is to move, if he's going to do anything, is to move the green away from the brown, just so if Lee can get on the green, at least he can't get on the brown. He's going to attempt a shot here. What's he going to do?
Is he playing the double?
So he's going to...
No, he's not. He's just hitting it down the table. Oh, he's not got it safe, has he? Oh,
he hasn't, but then that does line up with what I've said. If he pots the green, it's a challenge to get on the brown, and knowing that Joe just needs a point from anywhere. This is as big a shot for Lee now as it was just so for Joe.
It's not easy.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. I don't think there's any point Lee playing the safety here, in my opinion. He's got to go for it. And that's what he's done, and it's there.
Well,
and although it might look like he's on the brown, it's a funny old world snooker.
3.
These can be missed.
I know you...
And more to the point, the position on the blue's not guaranteed, nor the pink.
I know you said this was a PG channel, Toby, but I'm sure that at home, I'm sure Joe will be having some slightly non-PG words at himself there.
Yeah, who would blame him? Who would blame him? You just come into that crashing of thing of, as I said earlier, as long as you get a chance and a decider, you can kind of accept it, but by a chance, I didn't mean have the match at your fingertips and it fall through your fingers. I mean, barring snookers here, the worst that Joe can do is get a re-spotted black, but as I say, that's effectively the equivalent of going to a penalty shootout.
Well,
and that, I think, is what's going to happen here.
Do you think that Lee should play for snookers? Do you think Lee should try and sense his opponent's nerves, sense his opponent's indecision, and try and get him out the frame now, maybe?
It's a funny one, isn't it? There's positives and negatives to both. I would say no, because then it's almost like I know it sounds ridiculous, but if Joe isn't a snooker, it almost gives him a chance. It lets him play at the table again, and it's funny what a chance can do for a player, even if it isn't a snooker. And that blue was tough. He very nearly missed that. This pink, by no means a gimme. And then how does he get onto the black from there? Forget that it might be a respotted black. Lee's going to have to pot 2 blacks in a row. This pink is a tough one.
Especially when Lee knows if he misses it, which he's not done, he's got it. But if Lee knows, because the pressure is on Lee as well, because he'll know that he shouldn't have this chance. He'll know that if he misses any shot...
18.
Wouldn't know it from that,
well,
though,
no,
would you?
I mean...
You wouldn't know it from that. That is the sublime of the sublime. These can still be missed, though. You wouldn't think so. But this would be an excellent clearance of 25. And it's on. We have the black ball finale. 63 points apiece.
Oh, well, who's your money on now, Toby?
25.
You can't put it on anyone. I just think that both players immensely under pressure. I think Lee, the favourite with having the form at the table, getting his eye in with that clearance. Joe a little bit irked he couldn't make it possible. I just hope Joe doesn't throw this away. I hope that he plays a few sensible shots, and if he is to go out of it, it's just through sheer grit from Lee and not through throwing it away.
I mean, the black ball shootout is fascinating because you can play hundreds of matches of Snooker 19 and play maybe 2 of these. You don't really practice them, do you? It's not like penalties where you practice them in training. These are just, you play them in the match and hope for the best, really.
Absolutely. Well, the probability of a black ball shooter ever coming up is, as you say there, very low. And Joe very much going for the safest possible. The roll-up shot. Push the black a little bit towards the cushion. And I think that Lee will probably just play thin off this and get this back up to the bulk. What I hope doesn't happen, I just hope he doesn't play up to it. Well, within his rights to do so, there's no law saying he can't, but just for the good of the game, play off this fin. That's exactly what he's going to do. Get this back up to the bulk. Not quite on the cushion, but it beats the bulk line. We might have to stay for a little while longer yet, you know. This isn't going to be one that either player gives up easy. And this has been a fantastic match, hasn't it? It's been a lengthy one. Once the 2 players have gone in with some brilliant breaks, but it has been tetchy with the safety play. Is Joe going to play the same again?
I
guess it's a case.
This is,
as I said earlier, let your opponent play the tough shots.
Well, I think this is very un-Joe. I feel like his confidence is gone. I think him messing up that opportunity, I think he's just lost the belief. He's more scared of making a mistake than he is of forcing his opponent into a mistake. You know, he's just very defensive from Joe.
And how this could have been different.
And again, this is a simple shot, but taking the long time over it, that shows the pressure, that shows the nerves, and it shows how much this means for the players.
Well, a place in the last 16 awaits, but you'd think there was a lot more than that at stake here. Goodness me, but when it comes down to it, survival in this World Championship is exactly what's at stake. One of these players is going to get knocked out today. Seems cruel to lose either of these at the first stage. Both players playing very well. We'll see how other players get on in other ties, but it's fair to say that in other ties, both of these players will probably run out 2-0 winners, and that's no offence to any of the other players in this tournament, but based on this is a big standard to live up to, and whoever wins this match going to have to keep an eye on this tournament. They could be a big favourite.
And maybe what Joe's also thinking is that earlier in this frame, I mean, we said earlier, I've just remembered when Joe did that roll up and he got a 4-point foul, and it was because of that Lee got back into this frame.
That's right. I said, will the 4 points make a difference? They have. You're absolutely right. It's a great point to bring up.
And I think
A few of those what if moments have happened from Joe today. In the second frame, you could be really cynical and say this was all in Joe's hands and he's lost it.
Well, I think that's in Joe's head now, because he knows that if he rolls up and doesn't hit it, that's match over. And having already missed a roll up this frame, that's going to be in your mind. That's going to be on his head massively.
Yeah, I don't think there's any mind games at play from Joe here. He just hasn't got the bottle for that anymore. And in analysing this match, if he indeed isn't going to go on to win, he'll be gutted with this. But he does hit the black. And this continues. I guess you could say Lee's been a little bit lucky then, actually, to stay in this match. I know he's played very well. But it's an interesting thing. There are 3 moments at least here. Obviously, the most notable one, a little bit early on as we saw. He only needed 1 pot and didn't get the screw back to get onto the green. But I should say at the start of this frame, 4-point penalty. The second frame going for the pot, being so aggressive that gave Lee a chance. It makes you wonder whether this match could have been different. We've only had best of 3 frames here. Imagine a best of 19.
Well, I mean that's what we should say. If this was a best of 19, then
he's played this too hard. Oh, he's okay.
He's all right.
He's okay. I thought he played that too hard.
It could have been a DDK, a dreaded double kiss there, but he was all right. But of course, yes. If this was a longer frame, I'm sure they'd be far more aggressive in this shootout. But when they know this is the match, they know that this one ball comes down to this, and that's huge pressure. Have you played many black ball shootouts in your time, Toby?
I have, but well, let's just say it hasn't always gone too well. I've gone a bit gung-ho usually, and it's not quite worked out. I've certainly had a few of those DDKs, as you mentioned. It's very easy to do. It really is. It is so easy to do. And there's no right or wrong really for this, is there? Penalty shootout, it's put the ball in the back of the net. If you're the goalkeeper, it's stop it. With these shootouts, it's whatever works. It's a funny one to describe.
It's just, you can feel the tension though, can't you? And what I will say is Lee is... Oh, that cue ball was a bit too close for comfort, I think, to the pocket. But Lee, he's not taking his time. I think he seems a lot more confident than Joe is here. Joe is being very cautious. He's been very... I don't want to say slow, but he is taking his time. Whereas Lee he's wasting no time. I guess maybe because Joe gives him a fairly easy shot. You just tap off it and get out with it. But can't call this at all.
No, I really can't, and that's why we're not saying too much here. It's almost a deja vu from Joe, and almost who can blame him if he changes from this shot and it goes wrong. It's just a complete. He doesn't win from this strategy in terms of hindsight afterwards, but ultimately hindsight's a wonderful thing. You've just got to go for it now, and who knows? Lee might get frustrated. He doesn't seem the kind that will. But we have seen some, let's say, interesting safety shots from Lee, whereby he's left the tempter, but surely that would be 1 step too far in this shootout.
Yeah, I think Joe's trying to frustrate him, but all credit to Lee. He seems like he's got a very good temperament here, and he's not made...
Anything you can do, I can do better.
There we go, yeah.
As Lee has shown, he's played a blinder there. That is as close to the black as you can imagine. Now, play this too thick, and this could potentially roll near a pocket, potentially in a cuttable range. So, Joe either move this back towards the middle of the table, or surely he doesn't go to try and put the black up and move it up bulky. He's just got to play up to this. If he's going to continue how he's played, he is going to just play up to this. The big one would be if it's touching ball. That would be interesting to see where it's left.
I mean, you can't really hide it behind much here, can you? That's the thing. Unless you try to
No, exactly.
hide cue ball
exactly.
in the corner pocket, but that would be like a kamikaze shot, frankly, because it could just go in.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
And it's
And I think both players have just resigned to the fate now of, well, I'm not taking any risks. And we could be in for a real stalemate here unless someone just overhits, underhits a shot, or God forbid, we don't get the black potted and the 7 points are ruled by a foul.
I mean, we should also say, like, 63 points each, that is a very decent score for both players to get in this frame. They've not played bad snooker, either player. They've both potted well, they've both made decent breaks, and I mean, most frames, 63 points, 80% of frames, you'd probably win with that amount.
I'd agree with you there. So Lee moves the cue ball slightly. I don't think it's going to make any difference to Joe. He's going to go with his same strategy. The only plot twist potentially here is that he can't just tap this and get up to the black. He's got to play this at the right pace. He's played that move with a bit too much pace, making sure he does hit the black. But that black, for once, is being Joe's friend.
It has, yeah.
It's not been very friendly to him today, but he is staying on that cushion. He's not playing. It's not rolling over and moving towards the pocket. We could be here for a while, so put your feet up.
Yeah, go pop the kettle on everyone. Just we'll make a big noise when it's over.
Yeah, we'll see about that, but depends how long it will be. I mean, people live here. They might be in bed by the time that this is finished. I want to wake them all up.
I mean, I know Joe has been a bit confused because some people watch his snooker videos and skip to the end. But for this one, I don't think you'd be able to blame them, would you? Because it's not. But it is tense. It's tense. It's nerve-wracking, but
anything could happen at any time. This is the problem. It's not going through. Well, it is, I suppose. It's going through the motions for these two, just to see which one cracks first. This could be. No, the black still his friend, but the cut not quite on. But it's not straight this time up to the black. This. I see. This could change things slightly. I don't think it will too much, but ooh, need this to go on the cushion to make sure that there's not an absolutely ridiculous thin cut on
that's
here.
First blink for Lee there, but Joe, in his career mode, he'd go for a double here, I think, but he doesn't want to risk it. He's not. It feels like Joe's gonna a bit like Arsenal, kind of wait for the perfect opportunity to score instead of taking the risk.
Yeah.
Which you can't blame him in this tournament. In the first round, you don't want to go out, and again, especially because Joe will know that he should have won that second frame. He doesn't want to make a second mistake this frame and lose it, does he? Or a third mistake, as it would be.
Absolutely not. Now, it should be clear that although we look at hindsight and it's a wonderful thing, we are where we are, aren't we? Both players have made mistakes, and it's amazing that we have just turned out to be like this with only 3 frames. We've seen it all, really, haven't we? All the things that could have happened in this very short space of time in terms of a match length, albeit we have been here for over an hour now, a short match length nonetheless. We have seen it all. Anything that could happen has happened. And we've seen a black ball shootout, and this isn't going to go away any quicker, albeit the black's on a different cushion now. But if you flip the table round, really, it's exactly the same situation, isn't it? It's between 2 pockets. It's pretty much exactly the same. And Lee was a little bit fortunate, you could say, to get that black where it is. Ooh, okay.
Oh, is he eyeing up a shot? Oh, he thought about it.
Quickly dismissed that,
Yeah,
though.
he did.
The problem here is that he hits this worse. If he overhits this again slightly, then I feel like on this side cushion there's more chance of a pot.
I mean, this strategy, this will, I think, partly frustrate Lee, but I think it'll frustrate Joe as well, because he doesn't want to be playing this. He wants to...
Yeah, nobody's getting anywhere with this.
No, I think if Joe has like a 50% chance of potting, he'd go for it, but it's just both players trying to get that chance.
Well, you don't want to get the ball off the cushion in a half-hearted attempt because there's always a cut on. If you can get it off the cushion, somebody's going to fancy that cut. And this is just, you'd be forgiven for thinking this is the same shot over and over again, which in effect it is. The black ball moving ever so slightly. It has come off the cushion now, if you look. It's just off the cushion. You could maybe get, I don't know, the smallest of rulers in there, potentially, without committing a foul, but again, there's just nothing tempting on here. Joe might just put this back, nestling on the cushion here.
Well, I know some fans are sick of hearing about it, but this is longer than the Taylor and Davis black ball shootout, isn't it, at this rate?
Yeah, it looks like it. Is this too soft? Hit the black, hit the black, hit the black. Oh my god, that was close. Too close.
A few fast heartbeats watching that, I'm sure. That was, what a way to lose a frame that would have been, and lose a match.
Wouldn't have been right, would it? But I honestly feel that's the way it's going to go, if it is to go. Because who gets the pot here? I just don't see how we're going to get any sort of end of a stalemate situation.
Wow, and this is very much a... if I was in the audience, I'd be tempted to get up and have a shot myself, because this is... you just want to make something happen, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah. Be a bad time for someone's controller to die and they accidentally hit a shot, wouldn't it? Goodness me.
Yeah, you don't want to miss the power bar on these shots.
No. Master Plus really makes it hard for that, doesn't it? I've never actually played on Master Plus myself, but you can just tell with any sort of issue with the power bar, your shot can go anywhere. And I guess that's very much similar to real life, reminiscent to real life. If you get your cue just slightly wrong, get your action wrong, the ball can go anywhere.
Well, yeah, I think we were talking before we came on air, that Chris Wakelin shot that's kind of gone viral, that was basically the real world equivalent of missing the power bar.
Yeah,
you get it
absolutely.
a tiny bit wrong, and then you go from being, a pro who's very good at their game to looking like an absolute muppet.
Yeah.
And I hope people in the comments and people watching at home do respect that. There's a lot of tension, a lot of nerves, and these players, this just shows how much they care about doing well in this tournament, that they don't want to make a rash decision and throw it away. It shows how much it means to them, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And it's just trying to find the words now. It really is. It almost feels like we are watching the same frame over and over again, and who is going to blink first. This is a bit of a change. The ball again, slightly off the cushion. Don't think it made much of a difference. I think that Lee's going to press this back onto the cushion, but, who knows?
I will say, that's all we need after the last year of lockdown is more experiences that feel like Groundhog Day. That's all we want.
Exactly, yeah. That's a very good point. But this tournament and any sporting event in the world just gets us all away from that. And that's, even though we have a stalemate here, which does feel like a little bit like deja vu, it is wonderful to have this tournament. Of course, it is Joe that's been instrumental in organising the tournament, so kudos to him there. And hopefully you're all enjoying, albeit this has got a little bit tense. Sure, we must have played the other two frames in the time that this has took. 20 odd minutes now I think that this exchange has took from missing the position on the green to being here.
I will say this one's half a chance. The black ball is enough off the cushion that it's a tempter. This is a definite tempter. If this was a red ball, Joe would...
He's genuinely thinking about this.
Yeah, well, I think it...
There's no sort of half-heartedness about this.
Well, if it was 0-0, Joe would go for this 100 times out of 100. Oh no, but he's backed out of it. And would he get a better chance than that? Because that is...
Well, it's that it's horrible, isn't it, when you get
he's
that.
thinking about it again.
Oh, you know what? I think you have to go for your instincts here, or else you regret it. Just go with what you're thinking, and you can just say, "Well, I played what I thought was best." And that's not the safe option sometimes. Equally, I think if he's going to play this for a pot, he's got to play it with some pace, because if he just tries and rolls this in, then it's very much an all or nothing shot. If he plays with pace, then yes, he's got a much bigger chance of missing it, but he might just get the black ball safe. And of course, the cue ball has a large chance of flying back up to the bulk cushion as well. But I feel like we could be seeing something. If Joe plays an ambitious shot here, we could be seeing something that resembles a climax here to this match.
I feel nervous just watching this, because
Taking as long over this as he did on that original green. For the record, I don't think he's got the angle at that, If he's going to play that shot, I don't think he's got it. I think he's going to hit the cushion with that. And then go to the near jaw. He needs more angle on this towards that far jaw.
If he plays it softly enough, I think he's just hoping it will drop in, but...
Yeah.
Oh, for match ball, this is horrible. For a match ball, it's... But he's definitely.
So we're just waiting.
He's thinking about it. He's not moved away from it. So I think he's going to go for this. I think this will be do or die.
Is he going to take this?
Maybe
he's taking a while about this, and that's completely understandable.
Maybe he's taking.
Pot this, and you're through to the next round.
Maybe
there's nothing more black and white about that.
Just take a deep breath. That's what you have to do, and this is to, as you say, get through to the second round.
What does Lee think during these exchanges? We might just about find out. He's going to take it on. He's played that too soft.
Oh, is it going to drop?
Rolling.
Is it going to drop? Oh no!
Wow.
Oh.
This should be a gimme for Lee, but can he hold the cue ball?
Just don't do a Tommy triangle. But Joe
it's
will
there.
It's
there. He has held the cue ball successfully, and after that big exchange, it is heartbreak for Joe, who took the first big shot on there.
He'll be sick, man. He'll be absolutely sick with that. That was a horrible way to lose the match.
So our final result is in. Lee makes it to the next round. He beats Captain Goodspeed by 2 frames to 1.
Yeah, well, you should say, of course, well played, LeeMc, and best of luck for the rest of the tournament. He did I think we were focusing on Joe, but he did a very solid job there, Lee.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And given as this has been a long one, I'm sure we'd love to analyse that all night. But it's been a long one, so we're going to let you go. Thank you very much to Tom for joining me. I hope the 2 players enjoyed watching that one back. Maybe not for Joe. He might want to hide behind the sofa and cry into his pillow. Who knows? But it is Lee who gets through to this next round. Very important to note that Lee is an unseeded player, so one of the top seeds. I think I'm correct in saying that Joe is seed 5 or number 6. So that is a shock. But Lee certainly deserved that, it's fair to say. Heartbreak for Joe. Lee through to the next round. Thank you all for your company today, and we'll see you all again with another match.